Hello.
Hello.
We are back once again for better or worse.
Yes.
Let us know in the
With
comment which which it is.
with with rants, news, and bullshit.
Yes. Uh right. Do I start off with the big news?
Sure.
Okay. Capcom has come out and made a very interesting statement. They're saying they want to focus more on some of their I suppose smaller IPs because they have like Resident Evil, they have Monster Hunter, they have Street Fighter, right? Which are three
Yeah.
massive franchises. But they're
Yep.
saying they want to focus a bit more on their smaller ones. And ones they named as examples were Mega Man, which I didn't know even still got new games, but I guess that's cool. Ace Attorney, which I also didn't know still got new games, but that's cool. And probably most exciting, Devil May Cry.
Knowing you, yes.
They named Devil May Cry by name. There's something in the works. So either a sixth installment or I forgot to turn on the music.
At least you
Or
noticed.
or a lot of people are thinking like a remake of the first one since Kamiya, the creator of the original Devil May Cry, is back at Capcom.
Hmm.
Although I'm pretty sure he's working on like an Okami 2. But maybe afterward he could do that. That'd be kind of cool.
I mean, the fact that they basically said, "Oh yeah, we're starting another installment."
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I'm
Mm.
hoping this doesn't mean that they're only now starting. I'm hoping it was already in the works.
And they've just decided to say, "All right, well, we're actually starting this now."
Yeah. But I'm also curious if this has anything to do with those sales numbers that came out like a month or something ago. Bit over a month, I think. Where we learned that DMC 5 actually is their best selling game currently.
Wait, don't tell me they just looked at their best-selling games and just thought, maybe we should invest in that a little bit more.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, they were a bit late with that because they already knew that. We only learned that a little while ago, but they definitely already knew that.
Yeah,
But
so they
which is
knew what to
also
do.
a bit mind blowing when you think about it. Like, how did Devil May Cry make more money than Monster Hunter?
I don't know.
That's insane and awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have, you know, game companies actually look at their smaller IPs,
Yeah.
realizing that, hey, we've basically been neglecting these franchises.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe we
to stay
should do
within the
something.
entertainment news, Warner Brothers.
Oh yeah.
They have gotten an offer from Netflix. It hasn't gone through yet, but it's a large amount of money, and I think Paramount is willing to bring a counter offer. We're talking about billions and billions and billions and billions
Yeah.
of dollars here, and it could potentially either, well, it will definitely ruin cinemas how we know them. There's no surprise in
Oh,
that,
you're right.
because if it gets owned by Netflix,
Yeah.
Warner Brothers, who also I think were partially responsible for the FNAF movie
Probably.
and a lot of other good movies. uh, They basically make up like half the stuff that's in cinemas, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
If all of a sudden the time they're in cinemas just disappears, what will happen is cinemas won't turn a profit anymore because, the movie's in there for like a couple weeks, and then it's onto the streaming platforms.
Yeah.
So at
Yeah,
that
you're
point,
right.
going to the cinema to watch the premiere of a movie, which is
I mean,
an
already that's kind of
experience.
been ruined because of streaming. Because like, why would you? Because movies go into streaming so quickly nowadays. It's like, why would you even go to the cinema? You could just wait like a month.
It's the experience.
Like that happened with like the Frankenstein movie, which is an amazing movie, by the way. Like I've seen it. It is awesome. But it made barely any money because it went to Netflix like a month after it released in cinema.
Yes, but it's also the experience, and if you go to the cinema, you only pay once. You don't have to pay a monthly subscription.
Well, yeah, but with the monthly subscription, you get a lot more than just the one movie.
That is true. You do get more. But as someone who doesn't really watch any series or TV or anything like that,
Yeah.
the cinema is basically a perfect option. You
Well,
just go like once or twice a year, and that's a lot cheaper than getting a subscription and not using it.
I'm not really a fan of cinema.
It
Like,
depends on the movie.
if I want to watch a movie while other people talk through it, then I'll just do it at home.
Oh, you have little brothers, yeah.
Yeah.
You get the cinema experience.
Yeah,
but
I
without having
basically
to
get the
spend
cinema
money.
experience. We even have like the whole like home cinema audio stuff. We never use it, but we do have it.
Yeah, but like recently I went to the premiere of the the second FNAF movie, because, I did it with the first one, so the second one was a no-brainer. And purely for the community that's there. Like, exactly who's going to watch that movie. It is not a surprise. It's basically just how many autistic psychopaths are there?
Oi.
Like, just don't be surprised.
As
You
an
know the FNAF community as
as
well.
an autistic person myself, I don't give a shit. Whatever.
And you know the community, so you'd probably just agree.
Yeah, well.
The amount of lore, the amount of time you have to spend to figure that out.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with FNAF lore in years, dude.
The same, like, I occasionally just think like, oh, well,
Actually, I will
with the
send
knowledge that I
you.
have.
I'll send you a video after this because Smith made a very interesting video. Apparently, there's now a mod for Security Breach that adds back in a lot of cut content that was like still in the game files apparently. And there's a lot, like a shitload.
Security Breach was a little bit of I don't want to say failed, or a bit. It was a bit weird. It was not really in my opinion, in line with the franchise in general. And the launch was a bit,
Interesting.
yeah. Yeah, let's just put it that way. Like, they could have done it a little bit better. But, they did actually, like, there is going to be a third movie. That's not a surprise. They did tease a third movie. My drink just blew a bubble.
Okay.
Was standing on my desk completely still. It was just some air trapped underneath an ice cube. And apparently it turned. And then the bubble just went up. But yeah. If Warner Brothers gets bought out by Netflix, then Yeah, it's pretty much over for cinemas and basically everything else. Which is sad, because even though, Jim, you're not really want to go to cinema, the experience is there.
I know, and I do want good movies to make money, which means I don't care that most movies nowadays don't get to make money, but those few that do deserve it, like Frankenstein.
I think the second FNAF movie already made quite a big profit. I think it has already made like over 60 million with a budget of 30 million. So it is doing really well. And of course, because it's one of the very few movies not made for a broad audience, it's actually made for the community, which does mean that if you're not familiar with the lore,
Yeah.
at least a little bit, it's going to be confusing as fuck. You're going to be thinking like, what?
Well,
why?
Okay, so my thing with that, I don't know how to feel about that, because like, on the one hand, yeah, it's, you know, it's for the fans, but on the other, I think it would probably be better to make it also stand on its own.
Yeah, currently how it is with the second movie, you have to watch the first movie, then the second movie.
And I mean, I know I say that as a Nier fan who gets their lore from everywhere.
We're talking about a franchise here which is known for having convoluted lore.
Yeah, well, okay. You know the Nier situation?
Is it as bad as having is Is
Okay.
it as bad as as soon as there's an image uploaded,
We've
the
got...
brightness immediately gets shoved all
I
the way
don't...
up?
Well, I don't know
because there might-
if I should say that it's better or worse than that, because we've got 2 Nier games. Well, technically 4, if you count the original Nier Replicant, both the Japanese and the European version. But, of course, the Japanese version got a remake, and that seems to be the canon one. And then there's, of course, Nier Automata. There's also the phone game, which I don't even know if that counts. There are drama CDs. There are anime, manga, novels, guidebooks, and on top of that, there's Drakengard, which has 3 games that take place before Nier, and they also have their own books and manga and CDs and whatever else. There's a stage play, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's a little. I mean, FNAF does have books,
Yeah.
but you know, they're starting to get a little bit more complicated with the addition of the movies. Although I'm not sure how canon they are. You know, they might not be. They might very well be.
I don't know.
But yeah, it was a good movie to watch, with a couple surprises. And I'm not gonna give spoilers, but what I will say is stay till the end. Or technically stay after the end.
Oh, so there's a post-credits.
That shouldn't be a surprise.
I don't know. Honestly, I kind of find post-credit scenes kind of annoying.
Well, the thing is, with post-credit scenes, it is a very smart way to hide something for just the
No.
fan.
It was a smart way to hide. Because nowadays, everything does it. And I would also like to have it known that Metroid Prime did it before Marvel.
Yeah, I think, like, as soon as Marvel started doing it, everybody started doing it because big franchise does it.
Yeah.
So let's do it as well. But, I mean, the first FNAF movie also had a post-credit scene, so it's only natural that the second one has one as well.
Yeah.
yeah, that was an experience to be at. Luckily, there wasn't any drama or anything. Although, because the movie is 16 plus instead of 12 plus, which yes, that means you get to do more horror stuff instead of having it watered down.
Yeah.
When we got when we could finally sit down because we were there quite early. Because we kept within tradition of let's watch the movie halfway across the country, like we did with the first one.
Why? There's a cinema right here.
There's cinema near me as well.
I was about to say, I'm sure there's a cinema near you.
Like very much biking distance. Maybe even if you want to take a longer walk, a walking distance. And yet, we drove halfway, like, to the center of the country, basically. Just to watch.
Why?
Oh well. Tradition. Like, we did it with the first movie because it wasn't anywhere else when we booked our tickets. That was like the only place where it was available.
Okay.
And yeah. But hey, at least I got to refuel for cheap.
Okay.
Like, even today, because I'm doing a course that is 85 kilometers away from me. So every morning I get to wake up, get in the car, and drive for 1.5 hours, basically.
Wait. You have a job.
Yes.
When are you doing this course?
I'm doing a course, like it's a 4-day course to teach me the
okay.
fundamentals of a program that we use.
I see.
So that when I get back, they can, get me started and I already know some stuff.
Yeah, I get, okay. That makes sense.
So it's basically like that, but, I go basically towards, I go with the stream that's always busy. So this morning, it took forever because for the first half of the journey, it was just one big traffic jam. And no, it wasn't raspberry or strawberry or a jam like that. Although I did see accidents.
Of course.
So you're just basically driving on your clutch because everything's that slow. And you just, like, this morning I just saw 5 cars, like, all at, like, somewhat weird angles. Probably people changing lane and then colliding. It was just funny to see, like, hazard lights on, slowly turning towards the shoulder to, get out, exchange insurance, maybe call a tow truck or something like that. And I'm just we're just all driving past that slowly, like, how do you fuck it up in a traffic jam? Because that's just special. You're not doing high speeds. How do you mess it up? I guess then people just remove the following distance entirely. Like, you're gonna get bumper to bumper traffic, which leads to accidents if, for example, people get bored, look at their phone, and whoops, your bumper's busted. And I did have twice that a semi-truck, because if I'm within a bit of a traffic jam or just in general, I sometimes keep quite a bit of space in front of me. I'm just doing the speed limit, and accelerating there takes some time because I have a slow car. But that did mean that yesterday and today, a semi-truck just scooched right in between with not a lot of space.
Well, that's nice.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, I'm just driving, so yeah. And also, what I've noticed in traffic jams, what a lot of people do that I don't like, is the start-stop traffic. Like just the, oh, we can accelerate. They start accelerating fast because, it's possible to get going. And then 3 seconds later, they have to get on the brake again because, the traffic's in front, it's at a standstill.
Yeah.
So what I decided to do is just leave around a car-sized gap to the car in front, maybe a little bit bigger, so that someone can get in front of you if they wish to change lanes without, causing a lot of trouble. That removes a lot of risk, a lot of accidents. And I get to sort of maintain my speed a little bit. So I get to actually, sort of drive a little bit slower, but just keep going at a steady speed, which is often, better. It keeps everyone going.
Yeah.
That's just. And also, a petrol station nearby has apparently, been sold to another gas station, to another company, because all of a sudden, it's a different brand, and it's cheaper.
Oh.
It is specifically 1 cent cheaper than where I usually go. And because I have to drive a different route than usual, I actually pass through there. So, yeah. And also because I basically do only highway driving, my car used to burn 1 liter per 16 kilometers. But I did a calculation, because I calculate my fuel mileage every time I refuel with surprising accuracy, like down to the meter. Because I want to just know, like, even if there are slight changes in efficiency, I want to know. Because it could be an indicator that my engine is starting to go downhill a little bit if the fuel efficiency suddenly drops. But, like, usually it was around 1 in 16, 1 in 16 and a half. Which means 1 liter of fuel does 16 and a half kilometers. Then, earlier this month, after doing a bunch of highway driving, it was 17 and a half. I was surprised and happy. Because I did an extra kilometer per liter of fuel. That's more range, that's less money spent on expensive petroleum. And today, I calculated again and got 1 in 19.
Why does expensive petroleum sound like a Harry Potter spell?
Probably because it's from a meme, which was by Harry Potter. Instead of expected petroleum, it was expensive petroleum.
Oh my god. I don't
sounds
even
like
know that meme. But that makes a lot of sense.
Memes.
Whoa.
It was when fuel in the US was getting crazy expensive. Yeah. Like, fuel here in the Netherlands is gonna get more expensive next year, but they're gonna hopefully, they're saying they're gonna use the money that they gain from actually, getting the extra money that they get to use it for public transit, so bus routes don't disappear.
Oh.
So, Jim, the bus to your place doesn't suddenly just get removed, and all the elderly people suddenly have to get a taxi because they can't drive. But if a bunch of them can't afford to, get a taxi, then they have to walk, which they also can't, which means they're stuck, and then they get depressed, and they get a bunch of sad old people.
Yeah, wow.
Speaking of sad, I found some news this morning, like early this morning, which is an article about the mental health decline, especially with younger
Yours?
people. No, mine isn't declining because in order to have declining mental health, you have to have mental health. You can't break what's already broken. But yeah. And the article does talk about the fact that it's specifically about the people up to 25 years. And it is basically, yeah, it's apparently costing, in just a sick leave, it's costing like around 5 billion on just, people being sick because of mental health issues, which you should be allowed to. But it's also talking about the fact that because it's so bad with the youth, it's just because they don't really see a future. Like, everything's way too expensive. The planet is dying. Nobody's doing anything about it. And on top of that, you're not getting any help. So you just have to deal with it. Yeah, no shit that a lot of people get depressed at that point. I mean, Jim, you've experienced how expensive and how impossible it is to buy a house.
You realize that you were in the same boat, right?
Oh, I already realized that buying a house is basically out of the question.
Well, usual, that one house might not work out, but I have other neighbors.
Oh no. We're not murdering the neighbors.
Oh no, I don't think we'll have to.
No, it just sounds like you already did.
No, no, I don't think we need to do anything.
Yeah, if you have a lot of old
So,
people
because I
living.
said yesterday, like our odds in about 2 years will increase quite significantly. That wasn't just
Considering.
talking. That wasn't just talking about, oh, we'll be earning more money.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Oh no. Yeah. I mean, not only will I have we both have at that point have a contract with the company that lasts basically. If you play a card trick, you could basically just get like an infinite contract.
Yeah, I know. I'm quite likely to get that, actually, because everyone else at my company has that.
Yeah, it's basically you're gonna stay here, and if you want to leave, you can leave, but you have to probably give some notice, like, hey, I might go. Or like you're gonna say, I'm looking for other stuff. I don't think it's necessary to do that. I think you just say, I found something else. I'm gonna start there at this date. I'm gonna work here till this date, and good luck. But if I were in the situation where I could get either a higher paying job or a better job, I would still go to the company and basically say, "Hey, I found something else that I'm gonna take as a job. You know, I'm gonna be leaving. Don't worry, I'm gonna finish this month off. You guys can prepare." Because, it seems like the right thing to do. Because it is apparently very difficult for companies to find people. Which surprises me because a lot of people are looking. I do feel like there's just this big difference in understanding between the companies and the people looking for jobs. There's just this big sort of gap that often recruitment agencies can fill because they have the, they have the contacts with the companies. They know who to call, who to find, and who to get you a job. However, try doing it on your own. Emails, unanswered. They just straight up don't respond to emails. Like, I know I've talked about this before, but it's just bullshit how companies straight up ignore your emails. Like, you send them an email with motivation and your CV attached, your resume, so they know they know that you're interested, they know what your abilities are. They specifically said they were looking for people, and then they proceed to completely ignore you. And even recruitment agencies aren't that good, because I've had one of them where they invited me for a chat to, talk about what I'm looking for. Then they didn't get back to me for 2 months. In the meantime, I found a job through another recruitment agency. And they called me back while I was in London. Like, they woke me up with a phone call to say that I finally found something. Of course, it might have been the fact that I didn't really, tell them I found something. So they could stop looking. That's on my part, but then again, they didn't get back to me for months. Like, they could have at least said, "We're still looking."
Yeah, but that would take effort.
Companies are companies. Companies are companies.
No, but I have never had that issue with any company.
Yeah, but the companies in your area are so small that an email address is probably just someone's personal email.
I didn't just message companies in my area.
Fair point. For some reason, every time I send an email, it either takes a month to get a response, or doesn't get a response at all. And then when you call, then they're apologetic because, "Sorry, we just missed your email." It usually doesn't happen. I got that excuse. And at that time, I accepted. It was like, "Fine, all right. You got the email. Can I do my internship here?" They said yes. But looking back, it was the most bullshit bullshit excuse they could have given. They just didn't look at they just ignored it and were like, we'll see if he calls. Oh shit, he actually called. Like, that's just annoying. But how did I get back into the rant about companies and a response?
I don't know.
Last time I had that was when I was looking for a job, and companies were ignoring me once again. They do tend to really do that. So if you're in the Netherlands looking for a job, I want to embarrass a company, or look for an internship or something, send the email address which starts with info, because it's info. Usually it's info at then the company name dot either nl or .com. And if you don't get a response in a couple weeks, call, say that I sent an email a couple weeks ago, and then basically listen to their tone suddenly change as they realize they fucked up. Because they just completely missed someone asking for, which often has a time limit. You know, they can't really just straight up say, all right, it's been half a year. He's still looking for, he might still be looking for a job. Or, oh, he might still need a company for an internship. That just doesn't work. So yeah, companies just need to properly realize what they're doing. Because they just don't.
Joe,
Yes.
if you look at the monitor for a moment, what do you think?
I think the taller
Really
one looks
big
better.
mansion, or
Taller one looks better.
bit more reasonable mansion.
Taller looks better.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. There's just like the problem of what do I do with all this space?
Attic.
Well, yeah, you realize how big this is for an attic, right? I guess there could be bedrooms. Now that I think about it. Except for this
In the
space.
meantime,
Whatever.
log into the government website.
What? Why?
Wait, I still have to activate the app?
Oh, that
boy.
website. Oh, having to
boy.
activate that sucks.
Yeah, because I don't remember my login.
You're talking about DGD, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that before.
Is my login just my email?
Well, okay, so something stupid from that I remember. You can't have spaces in your username.
Please tell me I got this. Yep.
I don't know
hold
why
on,
you
hold
can't
on,
have spaces in your username, but you can't have spaces in your username.
I can use my old phone for that. Can you? Oh, of course it has to charge. Does it still charge, actually? Yes, it does. There's gonna be an issue, isn't it? I don't want to ask for... Wait. I could probably... Don't have that in there. I guess it's gonna be something for later. Because we have a podcast to do. I was hoping to quickly, you know, be able to do it. And just sort of...
No,
Because
that's not how this goes.
How the Dutch government does it, they basically say... Instead of saying that, saying the message, they're saying, hey, log into the government website. You got a message there.
Yeah.
Which is very secure, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
It's just sort of annoying.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember my log, and I don't want to try too many times, because then it would just fail, and I'll be blocked.
Yeah, and then you'll be kicked out of the Netherlands.
But because it's saying log in with another device, I might be able to grab my old phone, log in from there, because I think it's still logged in, and at that point actually, you know, get the code, log into my stuff on my new phone, and do it that way.
Yeah.
Although my old phone is incredibly dead. This is 0%. I haven't charged it in months, you know, new phone. So your old phone sort of just sits there. Yeah, let's hope this charges at least a little bit. Shall I look at some news at some point?
Maybe.
Because there's some interesting news about Ukraine.
Oh.
That Zelensky is willing to have elections.
What, between him and Putin?
No, in his own country. Just a potential new leader in Ukraine.
Wait, under these circumstances?
During wartime, yes.
That...
Which is
hmm.
a bold move.
Yeah,
Bold, it,
I would not have done that. I would be like, let's just wait a moment. Especially because he's the one that has all the relationships right now.
yeah. Yeah. I'm curious if it's gonna work, but you know, we'll see. And some other news. There is apparently there's going to be a hydrogen network in the Netherlands.
Oh.
But there's not a lot of money, so it's delayed.
Oh. Well, I suppose that's not surprising.
But the thing is, right? Hydrogen is almost, not entirely, a plug-and-play replacement for natural gases.
Hmm.
Of course, it's not entirely plug-and-play. You can't just grab the same gas. Well, you might be able to use the same gas lines in some areas. Because, you know, you're both transporting gases, so the lines should be up to code. And of course, the devices that use them will need some adapting because, you know, different temperatures. Yeah, everything's different. So that's a change to begin with. It's gonna have... But... yeah, they found out that the costs are going to increase and less of the existing infrastructure can be used. So yeah. But if a hydrogen network is actually getting built, that could be good news for hydrogen-powered cars.
Yes.
Or semi-trucks as well.
I know they exist, but are they actually, like, worth it?
Considering the infrastructure is barely there, no. And they're basically just, depending on what kind of car, they're basically just electric cars, but way more inefficient.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think there is some difference still. Like, the thing is with hydrogen, you have multiple types. A lot of them just use a sort of engine. It just turns hydrogen into, just uses hydrogen to generate electricity to power the car. So you're still driving an electric car, it's just hydrogen powered. But I think there's also a possible solution where you can shove it into combustion engines. Because, you know, combustion is just, if you look at it from a chemistry standpoint, is just adding oxygen.
Kind of, yeah.
If you specifically look at the formulas, I know this is going into very nerdy details, but I don't care. Basically, you just have hydrogen plus oxygen equals hydrogen monoxide, hydrogen dioxide, which H2O, or dihydrogen monoxide, which is water. It all depends on the combustion itself, what the composition becomes, if it has more hydrogen, more oxygen. You know, you're gonna have to work all that out. Engines might need some parts changed, but if you can basically keep the existing infrastructure, you would have to replace a fuel tank, turn it into a fuel cell because pressures, and a square doesn't do pressure from the inside really well. So you'd have to, often a hydrogen fuel tank is just a Sort of like those tanks they use for scuba diving, but then big. To make it easier for people to understand, they're basically just a big round bottle. It's a tube. Right, let's see. Oh, he gave a pop-up that I quickly tapped away. Yes, then give me the code. Then I'm gonna say log in with another device. Then grab the code. Next, then I have to use the camera, which scan the bloody code. And say yes. And boom. Now all I have to do is get a pin code, which I just put it in. I'm just putting in the pin code. Then yeah. Yeah, that's my email address. Ready. Boom. I'm now logged into today again. So I don't need my old phone anymore now. I did it before, but then I realized I had to still lock my BIOS because it was unlocked to change the software, and that meant a full reset, which sucks because that meant making a backup, storing that backup, then bringing it back again. Technology is a pain in the ass.
Yes.
As someone who has been messaging me throughout, or basically a group of us throughout the evening with PC issues. Yeah. Also, we might get more trains.
Oh.
There is a company
mean-
fighting, basically going to compete with DNS and Deutsche Bahn for trains to Germany.
Specifically to Germany.
Yeah.
What, so we can eat disgusting bread? Like,
So we can get the bratwurst and then bring it back here.
ooh, bro, that is a good argument. Yeah.
Like, we go for their good food, then immediately go back and combine it with our good food to make
Yeah.
incredible food.
Dude, yeah, because their bread is disgusting, but their wieners...
Are you saying you like German wieners?
Actually, I like Austrian wieners.
I guess everyone loves wieners.
At the ski, like when I went skiing a couple years ago, we went to they had like, you know, a little restaurant right there, right?
Yeah.
Well, of course there were multiple. It's a it's a ski area. But the one we went to, it was like bratwurst, but with melted cheese in it.
Ooh,
It
that
was
sounds good.
really good with French fries. It was really good.
Ooh, that does sound delicious.
Yeah. So we go into Austria for this holiday just to get some from.
Wait, Austria?
It's 1,200 kilometers.
May I have a solution for that? It's called a train.
No.
It's the night jet.
We'll
You
pick
get
up-
in.
We'll kidnap Joran. We'll drive for 12 hours.
In the Twingo, sure.
In the Twingo. Yeah, okay, actually, maybe not, yeah.
Well, considering pretty much me and Jordan would be Jordan and me would be driving.
Not necessarily.
You're revved. You do 70 in third gear.
Yes, when I'm accelerating.
That's what fourth gear is for, so you're in the power
Well,
band of the engine again.
in my mother's car, it's in third.
Yoda and I both agree that the Kia is somewhat worse to drive.
I don't, because one, then I have music, and two, I'm not a fan of your clutch. It's just weird.
It's just the fact that it's a new clutch, that
Yeah,
it only has like
that
6,000 kilometers on it.
Probably is, yeah.
Although I'm managing to use it.
Also,
like, of course,
in my mother's car, at least we'd be able to like take some baggage.
Oh please. My car can fit enough luggage. You just have to get in the back, sit diagonally, basically,
yeah,
which is way more
right.
comfortable, to be fair.
Sure.
With the seat all the way forward, so we have some trunk space. And we could
Right.
only go for a short amount of time.
Yeah, we would have to stop like every.
No, we can't bring large suitcases.
Oh.
We can only bring small suitcases if we go with the three of us.
Yeah, no, but if we were to go to Austria, so the thing is, like, I have friends in Austria, and they, you know, have like houses for rent, like for tourists. In fact, one of them has a whole ass hotel.
So basically, accommodation is already done.
Well, that's the thing. If we want to do that, we need to basically plan that like a year in advance, because otherwise they're booked.
Yeah, and I am saying we're gonna go by train because, first of all, comfort. It's a night jet. It's a sleeper train. You
Okay, so
get in Amsterdam, sleep. You wake up there.
so it is available by train, but I'm not sure like how available, basically, because I think we would have to step to different trains multiple times probably.
Although Austrian trains are known for their punctuality.
I don't know exactly where it is. It's like, it's near that one town that like years ago people were like, oh, that's the town from Frozen. And now it's just filled with tourists. It used to be a nice, calm place, and now it's just filled with tourists. And I don't even see the comparison. It does not look like the town from Frozen at all.
Is it east or west? I'm currently looking at Google Maps.
What do you mean?
I'm looking at Austria. Is it in the east? Is it in the west of Austria?
I don't know what I forget what that town is called. I'm sure if you it's like Bach something, I think. If you look up like town from Frozen, I'm sure you'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you find it?
No, but I'm looking it up. If I can fucking spell. Hallstatt.
Yes, Hallstatt. That's what it was. Yeah. So, it's, you know, it's a really nice town.
It's somewhat in the center.
But somewhat near there is where those friends live. I forget what their town is called, but it's like somewhat near there.
Transit? Does it it doesn't do trains. It doesn't even do trains.
No, that town doesn't do. No, you want to hear something really funny that we heard from like a local there?
What?
So we just went there by car, but all those tourists come there by bus, right? Because there's no train there. It's like in the middle of the mountains. And there's no train. There is a train somewhat nearby, I think, but like, you know, tourism comes with the bus. Yeah, so they had to limit the amount of buses that is allowed in.
Ouch.
That's how bad the tourism is. But yeah, no. So, but that's not where it is, which is really nice. It's like somewhat close to there.
Well, let's rearrange that so it actually makes sense as a journey, not just I pick you up. We drive to Austria. We drive to Joram.
Yeah.
It's
Ah,
just-
yes! We'll go back 12 hours.
Yo, hold on. Let's drive for 12 hours, then go back for like 11, then drive 11 again. Yeah, let's not do that. If I go passing you and then to you and then we go straight to Alstad just directly.
Yeah, well, it's as I say, it's
Then-
not actually in Hallstatt.
Yeah, but as a general area, it's a 13-hour drive. What if I want to avoid toll roads? Because screw toll roads. Not too bad, actually.
I don't
Although-
know. I'll figure it out later.
We have to really plan that one.
Yeah,
Like,
but as I
properly
say,
just-
if we want to do that, we'd have to do that a year in advance. Like, I would have to call them like a year in advance.
Yeah.
So we would also
Let's-
need to be extremely certain that we want to do it.
Yeah. Let's see what else we have. Australia has actually banned social media for children.
Wow! Australia made a good law for once.
Well, the thing is, I'm not sure if there's an if it's like the age in Australia if you want to use social media is 16 years. So you can make the entirety of the Australian social media 16 plus. They can't have accounts on Facebook, Instagram, Kick, Reddit, Snapchat, Threads, TikTok, X, YouTube, and Twitch.
I mean, that's good.
So
You,
I guess they're allowed-
YouTube
they are
YouTube
allowed-
seems a little bit overkill, but you know.
well, they can't have an account, so you know they can't be. They're just gonna get the most generic algorithm in existence. But it's just. In my
I think
opinion,
even
it's a
if you
good
don't have
decision.
an account, it will still kind of keep track, because we are not logged in on our television, but it still recommends stuff that's like related to stuff you've looked up before.
Yeah, but you know, for stuff like Facebook, you basically need an account. For Instagram, you basically need an account. For Kick, I don't know, I don't use Kick. For Reddit,
Yeah,
you
me
can.
neither.
I think you can still use it without an account. Not, but it's just you're not getting. You're gonna have to look at one specific subreddit at a time, and you don't get a customized feed, which is what many people use. Snapchat just means you don't get to use Snapchat at all. I think Threads the same. TikTok, you would get the generic algorithm where you have to look specific things up. X, same thing. YouTube, same thing. Twitch, same thing. With Twitch, you might not even be able to chat because you don't have an account, which many people, many Twitch streamers, have actually clamped down on the rules because otherwise you're just gonna get bombarded with artists trying to sell you shit.
Yeah. Yeah, even I know that.
Yeah, and you, Jim, are an artist,
Yes, but I don't sell my
evidence-
shit on Twitch.
as evidenced by what you're potentially looking at.
Yeah.
All hand drawn by Jim.
I mean, I can just do this. Like, watch this. Bam.
I guess. But I mean, if they were to put those kinds of laws here in the Netherlands, I think it would quite help with mental health as well, because you won't have the children that suffer a lot because, you know, mental health issues from social media, like body dysmorphia and everything like that, or just online bullying completely
Or-
disappears.
Coco Melon
Yes,
destroying creativity.
yeah. That also means that children don't get to use AI.
Do children use AI?
Is it a surprise?
I don't know.
You know, parents just give their children technology these days.
I know, but what does a child do with AI?
Ask it dumb questions. And then not get the proper learning skills to actually research something on their own because, oh, just ask ChatGPT. That is what's happening, pretty much.
What age demographic are we talking about?
Probably like 10-year-olds.
Right. So...
Yeah. And also, it might actually encourage them to go outside. I know, it's a surprise. Because back in our day, yeah, there was some technology
Grandpa
around. Yes.
Jules.
Yes. Opa vertelt. But
Dude, we need to get
yes, we had
Oscom
some
on here.
technology. But it was just, like, not entirely through everybody's head. It was just... When I was like 5 years old, I wasn't on my phone, or I didn't have an iPhone, fancy iPhone, or any... I guess we had I might have had a DS at that point. But apart from that, I was just running around being a dumb kid. And also, children these days are incredibly tech illiterate. Like, we were basically the only generation that got taught how to behave on the internet.
Kinda, yeah.
Why? Why did we stop why did we stop teaching children to not give away your personal information? Don't really be careful, be really careful when you interact with anybody that you don't know, or even that you know. What, like, once online, always online.
Jules.
If you put an image online, it's never truly gone.
Jules.
Yes?
I just had a genius idea.
What?
We need to do an episode fully dedicated to just talking about our education, about our course, and get Oscom on there.
Won't it just be full on like an hour to 2 hour ad for mechanical engineering?
Maybe. Or maybe it will not talk about school at all. We don't know, because it does come.
You wanna know the dumbest thing? My job is entirely disconnected from the course we did.
Yeah, I know.
Like, yes, of course, our like terminology and a way of thinking is the same because, you know, everything in technology is sort of the same, but different. It's just, you can see it as different flavors of the same thing. Like, it's all ice cream, just different flavors. And yeah, like, I might get to learn some programming. That we didn't have. We had it a tiny little bit. A tiny little bit of Arduino that didn't work half the time.
Okay.
It was bullshit. I still have the traffic light thing, which I barely did. Said, this doesn't work. And then then the teacher basically just said, yeah, you're done.
If we get Oscom on here,
Yeah.
it's gonna start with us talking about our education, and then we're gonna go talk about flat Earth and about the meaning of life. That's how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
I can draw
Also,
him a PNG as well if we, you know, well, first we probably need to teach him how to use Discord, and then I'm gonna draw him but
boy.
with hair.
Oh boy. Oh, that's gonna be hilarious.
He can be All Might from My Hero Academia.
Also, some weird news, which is connected to the children, as well,
Oh,
is that doctors specified to deal with children are getting really concerned about child obesity.
I mean, that's been going on for quite a while.
And I find it always sort of sad to see a fat child. Which, like, I might have told the story before, but when I had, like, physical therapy for my arm and such, it basically just I eventually got into a group which was just exercise once a week for an hour, so you at least got some exercise in. And there was another child there, who was there to lose some weight. And eventually, once we were at some point done, so my mom was there and the other mom was there as well. And my mom just, we just went home. The other mom gave the child, which needed to lose weight,
Oh no.
just donuts. Like, oh yeah, I'm very proud of you that you've exercised. Here, have some food.
I mean, that's...
While the therapist was still there. And she was mad. She was not happy. Because what that mom has basically been doing
Yeah.
is reversing all the hard work the child was doing. The child was putting an effort to, lose weight. And then the mom was just like, nah, we undo, Control Z.
Yeah, but that's always the, like, also in, like, in, like, elementary school even, it's like, you have those kids that just get, like, cookies, like, every day for, like, a break, but then when they're done, after school, they immediately, on the, still at school, right, like, just right outside, they get a cookie, and then they get home, and they get another cookie, and then, it's like, oh, it's just a cookie. Yeah, it's just a cookie. It's your fucking fifth one that day.
And they're
like,
probably 2-packs as well.
Because but that's always the response of these parents. It's like, oh, but it's just one. Yeah, it's just one. Yeah, right now.
It's just one. You said that 5 cookies ago.
Yeah, exactly.
It is the definition of just one more game.
Yeah.
Or one last game, and then I'm gonna go to sleep, and then it's 5 hours later.
Yeah.
It's 4 a.m. and you've ruined your sleep schedule. Instead it's the one last cookie, and then one entire pack later.
Wait.
It's just dumb. Like, that's what it would make if social media were to be, we get the same laws as in Australia here. Children would be forced to go outside. And also, might as well ban fat bikes at that point.
They're looking for that, but they don't want to ban electric, like e-bikes as a whole. So they need to find something to define it, which doesn't really exist.
The speed and the width of the tires.
Also, did you know... Well, no, not the speed, because legally they're just as fast as a normal one.
Well, are they capped at 25 kilometers per hour?
Yes, legally they are.
Legally.
But I was about to say...
Are not.
I was just about to say, if you buy them from Chinese web shops, you get a manual with it telling you exactly how to make it go faster.
Yeah, how about actually checking the... What if? Just a what if. The government actually decides to... Of course, it won't happen in a while because they're still forming a government.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a struggle because one party is being an asshole again. I'm not going to say which one, you get to decide. But basically what they should do is look at each. Of course, this won't be a permanent fix, but they should look at like the biggest like sellers, and basically, if the manual's included, like they independently go look at that, and if the manual's included, they get a visit from the government saying, you will not sell any more fat bikes here. You will lose your CE certificate, you lose your European certification, and you're screwed now. Goodbye. So you get that. That would be a great thing.
Yeah. There's
Otherwise,
just
I would
one
say
flaw there. It's China, so it's not gonna happen.
yeah. So by the time you've cracked down on one, 5 others would have popped up. That's going to be your main battle, trying to actually fight them. Because you won't be able to. It will just be an instant loss. But otherwise, you're gonna have to look at the thickness of the tires, because as I found out a couple like yesterday, the difference between a tire from a fat bike and the tires underneath my car is 20 centimeters. So if my tires were 20 centimeters smaller, in theory, I might actually be able to use a fat bike tire. If the wheel pattern is the same, which it isn't, then I would be able to just shove fat bike tires underneath my car.
That does not sound like a good idea.
It doesn't, but it does show you how thick those tires are. Of course, that would mean that if you have a normal e-bike with very fat tires... Oh wait, that is a fat bike. Problem solved.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, the easiest solve would just be put a blue number plate on it, classify it as a scooter, so people have to actually get their license. You put a minimum age of 16, a helmet is necessary, which immediately puts it out of style because helmets apparently are really bad. You know, they've tried to at some point get helmets mandatory on e-bikes, and every time everybody's like, just no. Because we're Dutch. We do not care. We will ride our bikes through horrible weather.
Wait a minute, you don't get to
Basically
speak here, you go by car.
I biked yesterday.
To your job?
No, to a restaurant because
Yeah, I was about to
dinner
say.
with my dad. Which is a torturing method on its own. But yeah. Like, I'm not biking to work because it would mean that I'd have to bike for over 30 kilometers just to get to work.
Yeah?
That distance is slightly too large for me.
Weak.
Especially with this weather. And also, my job might require me to drive somewhere else. Like, I don't know, a course. So
Well,
that
surely
means
they have a car for you, right?
they have a pool car that you can just, you know, use. But that has to be available. In the meantime, I just have my own car that I can drive wherever, whenever. Perfectly fine. But yeah, that Jim, owning your own car, even though I do have to deal with the maintenance stuff and everything, like I feel like my power steering pump is slowly failing. Fun. Might have to add more fluid. So I'm gonna have to look into that. But yeah, this is gonna be an experience. Having your own car is free because you can just say, all right, I want to go there. I'm gonna go there. And you don't have to, communicate with your mother like, can I take the car? You can just drive off. It is quite nice. Because yes. Let's see, what else do we have? We have apparently a cat that that had gone missing and was found at a recycling company after getting stuck in like one of those paper bin things, those underground containers.
Oh.
Or just a... Yeah. Apparently, the cat's name was Marley, and apparently the cat jumped in the container itself. It wasn't dumped or anything. It was just dumb cat. It isn't even orange. It's black and brown. If it was an orange cat, it would be completely expected. Because it's orange. It's dumb. I know I'm saying this as a ginger. Don't worry. Yeah. Let's see. What else do we have? We have the bidding war between... Yeah, as we talked about it, with the bidding war between Paramount and Netflix that's talking about billions and billions. What else do we have? Let me take a look real quick.
Well, I think we
Ooh.
should just wrap it up.
Ooh, hold on. Applying for jobs with AI.
Oh no.
An article about that. Because that's apparently the misspellings and the weird construction of emails and everything that's slowly disappearing. And they're starting to look a lot like each other. So the personality from an email, because an email does have personality, it is your personality, so yeah, is disappearing. Because AI. So yeah. Like, if you're gonna apply for a job, do it personally. Like, just try and do something yourself. Don't use AI. Because all you're doing is you're feeding an algorithm. You're making yourself dumb. Because, it's just... Like I said, if children are just gonna get AI, like, from a very young age, they're just gonna be, like, when they grow up, all they know is how to ask ChatGPT for stuff. That's all they'll know. They won't know any different. And that's gonna be a big issue.
Yes.
Basically, I said with tech literacy as well, they've basically never been taught stuff like common sense online. And with AI, let's just say we might be the last generation that actually is somewhat competent. So I guess now is the time to learn physical skills. Because we're going to be needing them. We're going to be needing them when all the jobs that include technology completely collapse because AI. It's going to be very interesting when that happens. Even with the software that we use at our company, in a couple years, they're going to change it. And it's going to become powered by AI. And their argument for it basically is there's a shortage of people, which can easily be solved with the amount of people that are looking for a job. If there wasn't such a big difference between the companies and the people, looking for the jobs that the companies are, sort of asking to be filled. So then that results in ChatGPT being an easy solution, for example. Because you can get a lot more productivity out of one person when they basically ask a computer for answers.
So that is actually incorrect. So
Well, they
far,
can
not
improve
a
efficiency.
single company that has stepped over to using AI has.
Yeah, but that's because they
seen...
fire all the other competent staff and then the quality goes down.
Well,
And they have
yeah,
to
but
rehire
still.
them back to fix the problems that AI
Yes.
has caused.
But because of that, not a single company so far has seen any substantial growth because of AI. Like Coca-Cola was very proud that they were like, oh, AI is really helping our company. And then if you look up what they actually
seen
used
their
AI
ad?
for, it was one ad. It was like one Christmas ad.
And it was universally hated because it was inconsistent as shit.
That's all it did.
I've seen an ad recently on TV because somebody I was actually watching TV for once. And it was about an insurance company. And it already seemed a little bit suspicious to me. And they had a mini convertible, which does not have, anything at the back. Like, it is sort of a hatchback, so the back's almost completely vertical. At some point, the Mini drives off. And all of a sudden, there's an entire rear end behind the car. The entire car changes. It's only visible for like a short bit, like only like half a second, if not less. But it's still noticeable. Like, nobody looked at that and saw the obvious AI, the obvious inconsistency. But apparently big corporations just use AI because it's cheaper. Like, they might not get more profit, but it sure is cheaper. Who cares about the quality? People will still buy. So yeah, that's why I said learn physical skills. AI can't take those jobs.
Yet.
Yeah, sort of. Unless they... Well, I know you want to wrap up, Jim, but I have a very funny story to tell you about Tesla robots.
Yeah, I know what's coming right now.
Because at a recent... Like, I've seen a video, multiple times actually, of a Tesla robot standing at a table with some bottles of water. All of a sudden, it looks like it's taking off a headset, and then it turns off and falls backwards on the ground. And it just seems to me like there is just some person somewhere being paid next to nothing, probably somewhere in India, just wearing a headset, pretending to be a Tesla robot, but then if he takes his headset off because of some reason, and just, everything completely falls apart. Because, Elon Musk has been promising those Tesla robots for a bit. Same with the Tesla Roadster. Only that has been lasting for like 7 years, if not longer. And it just keeps blundering one time after the other. At this point, I'm not sure how Tesla is still making a profit, considering their cars are universally hated.
They aren't. I don't think they are.
The cars are just universally hated. You have their headlights are either the sun or nuclear explosion.
That's not why they're hated, Jules.
Elon Musk is a big reason.
Yeah.
I actually did at some point see a sticker that says, I bought this before Elon went crazy.
Yeah, there's multiple of those.
I did actually see one in real life.
Yeah.
There is the Cybertruck, or the stainless steel Elon Mobile, which is still quite bad. People are actually polishing them to a mirror
Didn't
finish.
actually, not Tesla related, but didn't Jaguar fire the people that made that one ad?
But I don't know, but it would make sense considering
I think you know
they threw.
exactly which ad I'm talking about.
You mean the one where they announced a Satisfier as a car?
Yeah, yeah, that one.
Because first of all, they kind of threw away their entire heritage, which the brand was sort of relying on. You know, if you think Jaguar, you don't think this weird futuristic car. You think of classic, just like a guy in his 50s driving around, spending way more money on a car than is ever necessary.
I'm thinking way too
Like
hard.
that is the image of Jaguar, or just sort of a sports car. But if they've, like, every sports car company is sort of dropping the ball. Like Aston Martin has already sold its part in Formula One. Like they're still called Aston Martin as a team, but the actual road going car part of it is not connected anymore. So that you have that issue, and just all other, like, sports cars are basically dying, and I feel like it's pretty much the end of the sports car we're looking at. Muscle cars are already basically dead. You know, the Mustang is probably going to be the only actual proper muscle car we're going to have.
I don't even know on the top of my head what a Mustang looks like. All I know them from is from that song, like the Chinatown Blues, and only because Vettel and Neuros sung it.
Well, they're basically, because all, like, the Camaro got completely axed, like it is gone. They're not producing it anymore, which is sad
Bumblebee.
because the Camaro originated in like the 60s.
But Bumblebee.
Yeah, Bumblebee's no longer getting new models.
No.
The Challenger went electric and was universally hated because it drove like a boat, had fake engine sounds that were
What?
somehow too loud.
What?
Yeah, they put a fake exhaust sound, and somebody actually got fined for having an exhaust that was too loud.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he still tried to explain to the cops that it were speakers and it was an electric car. Cop didn't buy it, said too loud, fine. So imagine getting fined for the volume of some speakers on a car. It's dumb.
I mean, that is kind of funny.
Yeah, like, the only car companies that are currently doing quite well are the French and the Chinese. Although Ford, for their electric cars, are ditching Volkswagen's base and are switching to Renault's like sort of platforms in order to, you know, remain competitive. Because, you know, you're going to have the French small car base with a Ford body and, you know, stuff like that on top. Which might be good, might be bad. It's Ford. There's no way you can actually expect anything from them, considering they axed a lot of different cars. And don't get me started on Stellantis. That's basically just a lot of failing car brands in a trench coat. And they're all failing simultaneously. somehow. I don't know how they're managing it. Yeah, that's basically some car stuff. So yeah, do you have any other stuff to talk about, Jim?
No.
Wait, did it happen again?
What?
A car drove into a living room again. All is fine in this world. A car has driven into a building. When was this? I want to know. It doesn't tell me. Oh well. But yeah, I guess if there's nothing else to say or, to find, then I guess the next podcast will be when I'm 21.
All right. Yeah.
So I'm gonna be older.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna be an old man. I can actually start really telling stories about back in my day. We didn't have all them fancy iPhones. We had iPods and actual proper services that didn't require a subscription or a metric fuck ton of ads.
All right.
But yeah, if there's nothing left, then there's one thing left.
Yes.
That sentence made sense.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Well, considering there's actually one thing left to say, we're not experts.
But we were here.